Riley's incredible journey has been captured on screen. The film Lion, which has won 6 Oscar nominations, is based on his book, The Long Way Home. And joining me is Sarub Riley. Thank you so much. An incredibly moving journey, I would say. And let's talk about the happy, stuff first. So, what was it when Hollywood came to you wanting to take your story to the world?
It was amazing. I didn't really know what to say. I've been sort of touring with the book and just sort of getting it out there and doing sort of corporate speaking as well. But when sort of these production companies came along and wanted to take the life rights to turn this into this amazing, profound story into a motion picture, well, yeah, it was another level really. But I'm really happy, humble, and glad that I was asked and couldn't wait for it to be unfolded.
Your story. I mean, you were all of 5 when you got lost you were at a station. You got lost, and from then on started your story. And 5, incredibly brave, I would say, because any other 5-year-old would have been just like. I mean, what are the memories that come to mind? Because I don't think many people remember what they went through at age 5. But for you, it's somewhere. It's like your subconscious mind has just like made a movie out of it. It's just there.
Yeah, look, I think that area has been quite prominent during my sort of early years at the age of 5, because I didn't have much sort of language. I relied more on my visual. Never went to school, lived in the slums, didn't have much. My mother didn't have money to pay for us to go to school. But there was terrifying times, very sort of psychologically scarring. I guess hence why I sort of remember so much of it, from being on the train and getting lost to coming to Calcutta and fighting for life, to sort of almost being sort of abducted and drowning twice, almost in the Hooghly River next to the Harrock train station, and then going to a prison, just a local prison, and then a youth juvenile government prison. That's a lot of things that have happened, within months of each other. So much transition too. But for a 5-year-old, I was quite scared, but I was quite resilient as well. What do you do in a situation like that? For some people, for a 5-year-old, he would sort of flop down on his knees and cry and let the world just gobble him up. Yeah. But I wasn't like that. The best thing about human beings, regardless what age you are, when we fall, we pick ourselves up. We learn to pick ourselves up.
Exactly.
And so I think that comes back down to the resilience of me being sort of quite thick-skinned and wanting to sort of soldier on and investigate. Getting past the fear and moving on to finding solution.
Suddenly from Kolkata, it was Calcutta then, you find yourself in Australia. So what is that one distinct memory that comes to mind of your 5-year-old self who went through what you went through?
It wasn't something that I sort of thought about a lot. It was just what happened. I never sort of pondered on things back at that point in time, the transition between India and Australia. It was, I understood there's an anomaly in my life, but what to do with it, I didn't know, I didn't understand. I went through a lot, but I was ready to take on another, sort of journey, because this half didn't sort of really, it ended up in dead ends all the time.
And when did you decide to put pen to paper? And of course we'll come to Google Earth, which helped you find your family.
Yeah, look, it goes in stages and phases, because when I came to Australia, I had gone through so much, but no one really knew about it. Simply to the fact that I didn't have any language.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak or string a sentence together. So when I learnt English, I was able to tell the story to my parents, my adoptive parents, from the visual memories that I have. But as I sort of grew older, there was always that yearning to find out, like I said before, that anomaly that happened to me. But I couldn't really sort of explain and tell people until I learned the language. It's where sort of Google Earth came in, you know, prior
Google
to...
Earth was like 2011, 12. I mean,
Uh,
as you said, there's a dialogue in the movie that says, you know, locating a train station in India is like finding a needle in a haystack.
Mm.
So, I mean, it was something that was impossible, which in a way Google Earth made possible. But how? But it must have taken its toll on you. I mean, just trying to locate that station and the memories and, you know.
You know, you could say that I was almost in a sort of state of frame of mind of being obsessed and regimented because, you know, as soon as I finished work, I came home and sat down with a laptop on my lap and started looking. And then, you know, I'd have something to eat, then go back onto it. Forgot about the world. And it was something, you know, I think the yearning was just so big at that point of time in my life that you just had to do something about it. Otherwise, I never saw light at the end of the tunnel. You know, life would have been, in reality, quite grim for me.
Did you ever come to India between those years till no, you didn't?
You know, I never did because I feared that if I came back, I would come back to Australia thinking that, you know, there's no point of coming back. The whole thing is just so amazing in regards to timing and listening to your heart and your feelings. Yeah. When you want to do something, you do it. When you don't want to do something and get sort of cold feet, you don't. So, you know, there was a time where Mum and Dad said, oh, let's go to Australia. Sorry, India. We're in Australia. Just to, you know, go back and see your sort of, you know, visit some of the, like Agra and places like that, your heritage. But, you know, for me, I just got cold feet and we sort of decided not to. Time's a major factor and being in the right place is a major factor.
Absolutely. And also, what was your family's reaction when you finally managed to track them down? And how difficult was it to get your, I mean, you remembered your mother's face, your siblings, and what was the reaction when, after all those years, little Saru, now Saru Briley, walks into that home?
Look, it was such a pivotal time, you know. For me, here I am standing in front of a lady, you know, that's my mother, that I hadn't seen for 25 years, and she has sort of aged. And I recognised that, you know, within the first sort of 30 seconds. And here you are one Sunday afternoon, just materialised in front of me after 25 years. You know, I think that she was in quite a sort of a shock, you know, and didn't know sort of what to believe, even though she felt quite euphoric. For me, the earth stood still, you know, time stood still. Absolutely. And all these sort of chemicals in my brain was just going everywhere. Extremely emotional about it all. It's something that you can't just sort of explain. So, you know, I just had tears and we hugged. And I guess it's a bit like, you know, a scene from the Joy Luck Club movie. I don't know if you've ever seen it. You know, that particular moment where the mother and the sisters were there, and it's the first. It's just like that. You know, tears are pouring. You're so emotional, and you know, at that point of time, those weights on your shoulders have just diffused, and we're reunited again.
When you wrote your book, your experiences, and they approached you, and it was Dev Patel. Did you ever think, if your life was to be made into a movie, that this actor would be best to play me, or do you think Dev Patel is just the right fit for the role?
I think in one sentence you just said it. Dev Patel is the right actor for this, you know, to exemplify, embody me. He's an amazing guy, and I just don't know really anyone else out there that could have done a better job.
And did he spend time with you? Because everyone's saying that his Australian accent is impeccable in the film, and he's also managed to get himself an Oscar nomination, for which he's rather pleasantly surprised.
Look, he spent 8 months. He told his manager, you know, for the 8 months, I don't want any other work. I want to concentrate on this major role in this movie, because stories like this just don't come around all the time, and I'm quite chuffed and so happy that you know, I'm playing, you know, sort of a role in it. But and he spent his time sort of digging out and fossicking and sort of educating him as much as he can about myself, and you know, looking at YouTube videos and talking on the phone, and then, you know, meeting up. I think, you know, it was the thing about it. He was like quite a step ahead, because him and I were sort of the same people. You know, that the way that we so graciously sort of talk, and very eloquently too, I guess. You know, I don't mind saying that. And when I first met him, I didn't really know what to sort of think or say. It's the first time I've ever seen an actor, and yeah, we just, you know, sort of gelled so well and bounced off each other.
So it's one thing to live through your experience, and it's another to see that experience on screen. So what was your reaction when you suddenly saw it on screen?
Oh, look, it was massive. You know, I thought I was going to be quite desensitized from it, but I sat down and I was just like clenching onto my seat, you know, sort of physically, mentally, sort of affected to the point where you sort of pulled back in to the movie. And even though, you know, it's your life that's sort of going through, you're being remembered, you know. This was life once upon a time, and you're seeing it visually. Another level that's of sense heightened. And, you know, I just came out of it sort of so sort of de-energized, because it just really takes you in. It's really mesmerizing. Even to myself, I mean, you can call me sort of an emotional guy, but, you know,
Absolutely.
it just does it to you.
Well, your parents, I mean, what was, when you told them that you want to go back to your roots and search for your biological mother, what was their reaction? Were they like supportive, or were they a little apprehensive?
Well, first they didn't know that I was searching on Google Earth, but when I did find my hometown in 2011, I told Dad the next day that, you know, I'd found my hometown, the place that I came from. And he was like really apprehensive, you know, that how can a little boy, now an adult, sort of remember so much, and is he sort of not sort of dreaming about it? But I think, you know, for my adoptive parents, they were very sort of supportive in a way that when Saru sort of states something, it's not something to be taken lightly. He actually means what he's saying.
Okay. And what was your mum's reaction when she was told that it would be Nicole Kidman playing her?
Oh, look, she was over the moon, absolutely rapt, because, you know, for her too, it's a massive shock to the system of, you know, a book's being created, then all of a sudden this movie's about to happen, and wow, you know, Nicole Kidman's going to be embodying my mother. For her, you know, she was just really rapt. It is Nicole Kidman, because Nicole has adoptive children as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, the film sort of resonates in her as well, of sort of becoming an adoptive mother. But, you know, my mother, adoptive mother, and Nicole, they I think they're best of friends really now. But kudos to everyone, you know, in the movie, from the actors and actresses to the production as well. They have done such an amazing job, and you know, they deserve, you know, everything there is out there, from Golden sort of Globes to Oscar nominations, and hope, you know, we get something.
And you don't speak the language Hindi, and also has your family, your biological family, watched the movie, and how do you communicate with them?
They haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
They'll watch it in a couple of days, which is like really, I can't wait for them to see it. Conversing with them is a bit hard, so we've got a translator who just lives around the corner, and she translates, and I talk to my mum, you know, about twice a month, and I've bought her a house, which is something that I've always wanted to do.
Awesome. I mean, your story is something that Hindi films, as you know, they said, you know, you experience these things on reel, but a real life story, I mean, art imitates life and life imitates art. And have you ever caught any Hindi film? I'm sure somebody would have told you that this is what happens, you know, two brothers lost and then they suddenly find each other. But you're somebody who's like lived through that experience.
Yeah, look, it's it has been an experience, and you know, I think my destiny was just the way it was meant to be. I'm not going to sort of critique on stages and phases about this, what could have happened and what should have happened and how I could have sort of facilitated it. How about just being so simple about it, as in just leave it the way it is, you know, because you know, feel grateful about life now and what has sort of come about. So you know, it's sort of not. I think it just got that. I think this story has got that perfect equation of, you know, what sort of Hindi movies are all about, and it really touches the heart to the core.
Absolutely, and it's also resonated with the Academy, because these are the kind of stories that you want to bring to people. So you're all set for the Oscars, and on this whirlwind promotional tour, do you think that you now want to sit down and write for the movies?
Yeah, look,
you're an amazing storyteller.
Yeah, look, I'm thinking about, we're just in the process of writing the prequel as a book first, and then hopefully turn that into a movie. But I think, you know, from working in sort of industrial retail sector of business and having another transition of life, in more regards to my work history, into this another sector of business, which is, you know, being in the sort of the film sector. Maybe, you know, sort of writing is my sort of forte.
You are, I mean, Indian and now Australian as well. So when India plays Australia, who do you support?
Well, you know, I mean, I've been in Australia for a very long time, 29 years, and I've been, you know, sort of watching Australia play quite a lot. So it just like the movie, I guess I'd have to support the Aussies.
And also, have you kept in touch with anything Indian, like in terms of movies, food, all this while that you've been in Australia?
Of course, you know what, you can take the mind anywhere in the globe, but you can't take the stomach and the palate. I've got a collection of about 300 Desi movie DVDs.
So who would you want to play you if a Hindi movie is made on your book?
Shah Rukh Khan, it has to be him.
Shah Rukh Khan, are you listening? We should get that message across to him. Anyways, more power to you and Little Saru rocks.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.